welcome back to my YouTube channel. What I want to show you today is my UltraLock II. This is the same benefits and same basic construction of my UltraScan, which means it has a motorized transducer pole with an integrated battery, as we have here, and a Wi-Fi foot switch, which can be used either held in your hand, or you can take it out, take the Wi-Fi out. I'll show you in just a minute. But this one has the additional feature of being able to lock down on a target once you have, let's say that your trolling motor is in spot lock. The boat's moving back and forth, but if you lock this onto the target, then it will continue to stay locked on as the boat moves around. Very, very much like the target lock. And let me show you for just a moment how this thing works. This little Wi-Fi foot switch, if I can hold it here, move around. And you will notice that it will only go so far before it hits a rotational limit stop. Same in the other direction. Once it hits that stop, you can drive it off simply by the other foot switch. Now here's the best part. Once I engage the UltraLock feature, if the boat moves, this will compensate and go back to the same position. The other thing that you can do, let's say that you get out of range of the brush pile that you're on and somehow it drifts past it. You can adjust it with your foot switch to get back where you want to be, and it will automatically lock onto that point. I have a PDF file that shows you in detail how this little guy's built. And just like my other UltraLock series, this is fully integrated in that there's a battery here that operates everything. And in this case, this is a little more complicated than the other systems that I have. And this actually has a dual source battery. There's a 5-volt DC and there's also a 12-volt DC here with an on-off switch. And the controller is a combination of, there's one in here that responds to the foot pedal, and there's another one up in here that responds to the magnetic compass. One other thing I'd like to show you is that this particular model, like my UltraScan, is set up to work on the same bracket as the UltraScan, in that you see those two little locking collars up under there. They slide very firmly up into the bracket, and then you have 2 bolts, that holds it in place. Very easy to remove because it's fully integrated. You have a system that can be moved from boat to boat without much fuss. I do have, and I'll tack on to the end of this, a video about the bracket and about how all that works. So with that, I'll just end this part of the video and see if I can tag on to it, the part about the bracket. Let's take a quick look of the UltraLock in action. As you notice the boat moving around as it is in spot lock and trying to adjust to the wind direction. the UltraLock will keep the transducer pointed always at the same object, which in this case happens to be the edge of a bridge pipe. Source. And then here's your foot pedal. You can use it as a handheld, either way. And as you can see, if I had 3 hands, I could do this easier. And you can also, if you're so inclined, you can take this out if you do want to use it just as a small handheld. You can just take that key fob out and use it that way. Put it back in here if you want to use this as a foot switch. And the way I use it is I have Velcro right here, and then I'm able to use that as a foot switch. And there's a little story about the Velcro there. At first, I didn't have it. I just had the box laying there, and I came over awake, and the box went sailing out over my head. So obviously, I did 2 things. First of all, I put the Velcro on here so that it stayed put. The other thing I did was make little wooden spacers in there to take up that empty spot, so that if it does happen again, and it did float that time, because I got back to it pretty quick, but at least it'll float until you come back and pick it up. And to my knowledge, it didn't, well, it didn't even, it still worked, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And there is a separate video about the bracket and about the mounting bracket. So I will, I think I'll just tack that onto the end of this video. So, and first of all, you'll notice here, this being, of course, the mounting bracket that and you take this out, and this entire part slides back, and it will come completely off the boat that way. There are actually 2 bushings up inside here that are captured bushings that fit into a tight slot here to give good alignment and maintain alignment. And at the same time, the reason I did this was that it's important that your transducer pole be parallel with your trolling motor shaft. So doing it this way, it makes that happen, basically. The other thing to show you about this is, and this seems kind of, it's not very impressive, but this is the support pole that I use when I'm running, and I don't always put it on because this is really pretty stable here. It's much more stable than a lot of the commercial units that are available. But if I'm in really choppy water, then I will put it on. I also wanted to show you what I use for clips. This is actually Velcro, and it comes right off just like that. Leaves no residue. It sure beats tape. And as you can see, the mounting of my transducer here. And the other part of this design is that I've got, I hope you'll excuse all this moving around, but you see these two mounting bolts, and then there's a third one right under here. But this third one is set so that I can actually put washers underneath it, and I put Bellevue washers under here so that I can cause this to tip out while still maintaining the perpendicularity of this. Because I did that because this Ultrex has a 3-degree negative angle. So by design, when you put it in the water, it's going to be pointed down 3 degrees. But by putting, what I did was I actually deployed it and I put a level on here and then I put shims or washers actually underneath the bottom part until I got it to come up so that I know it's sitting at a 90 degree to the water line. Thanks again for coming back to my YouTube channel.